Hi, I'm Dr. Matthew Norton, the founder of People Plus Purpose, and this is the Truth Behind Dentistry podcast. And today I am excited to be with Allison Lacoursiere. Allison is an ICF certified professional coach and a trailblazer in dentistry and personal development with over 15 years of experience. As the founder of Clear Coaching, she has revolutionized clear aligner operations and dental practice efficiency while empowering dental teams to excel and boost revenues. Allison is a faculty member at Align Technology, Upgrade Dental, and the Dental Speakers Institute. She's also an accomplished beach volleyball player. I love that part. Personal trainer and yoga instructor. Welcome to the podcast, Allison.
Thank you so much for having me, Matthew. I'm excited to be here.
Good, good. Well, I'm excited too. So that makes two of us, and so let's have some fun and bring some value to our viewers today. So you've accomplished a lot. I mean, you're still a young woman, and this has not been, I mean, 15 years is kind of approximately how long you've been doing this, but you've done a lot in that time. I mean, many different things, from being an orthodontic assistant and office manager in the early days to all that you're doing with Clear Coaching and beyond now. So I'm would love to have you share kind of what is it that drives and inspires and drives you to kind of keep going in all this.
Yeah, I would say I am just a naturally very curious person. And so I love to learn and I love to help. I love to be able to see where there is a problem in the industry or there's a problem in a person's life or a person's journey and be able to support them to really like live into their most aligned version of themselves. And that really led me to want to become a professional coach because I recognize that we're all just having this human existence here. And the more we can learn and develop those internal skills of being the best human possible, it makes everything else in our lives better. And I know we chatted a little bit before the show started about you being a professional coach and supporting people with, being the best human. I think that so often in business, that has been something that has been overlooked. And in my early days of career, I just recognized like how many people just needed help and support to make their lives easier, more fun, more aligned, to be able to allow them to live the things that they wanted to do in their life and to be the best kind of version of themselves possible. And so I would say I'm very lucky to absolutely love my job. Like I wake up every day excited for the work that I get to do. And that really came from my own personal development journey first to be able to help and support others in this way. And so I would say my drive comes from wanting to help and empower as many people as possible and a deep curiosity to continue learning.
Love that. I love that. I think that when I think about coaching, I think there's a percentage of people, I don't know what the number would be, that say refer to themselves as coaches, right? But I think, who doesn't need a coach? I mean, like from your athletic pursuits, or you wouldn't have any kind of high level athlete that didn't have somebody coaching them, and they would often be better at what they do than the coach, right? The coach isn't necessarily, maybe hasn't achieved the level of success that that particular player has, but that player needs to have somebody objectively see them, know them, and find the way through, right? For progress, for victory. And I think in business, who doesn't need a coach of some sort throughout their whole career to keep being better, right? And I think there's something about looking through the lens of seeing yourself as a coach that says, I'm helping other people. I'm focused on helping other people be better, get breakthroughs, that sort. I think that's a really healthy perspective. Makes me want to encourage more people to become coaches of some sort, or to see like, where's your expertise and what could you do with this to make the world in some way a better place. So I love what you shared, and let's multiply this. Let's get some more coaches.
100%. And just speaking to the athletic reference, I grew up playing competitive volleyball and I've always had a coach and they created profound differences on my life. I can remember every single one of them, remember the big lessons I learned with them. And it's funny because we do that in the athletic world where athletes always have a coach who runs strategy, who runs like their physical well-being, but they also have sports psychologists
Yeah.
that match their mindset. And the question that I have is like, why do we only isolate that to sport? Like that needs to be in every business. It needs
Yes.
to be in every school because we don't understand the impact of mindset and an ability to think about things in a really healthy and powerful way until we're thinking about things in a really negative or bad way. Like that's when people typically will reach out to find a coach is like, I
Yeah.
need help, I need support. But the other recognition is like you can have a coach to optimize yourself, to be able to help you take something that would take 10 years to grow into and do it in 2,
Yeah.
or to just get to know yourself in a better and more aligned way so you can make choices in your life that are truly aligned to you. And so coaching is, in my perspective, like infinitely valuable. My coaches have completely changed my life. And I think it's why I get so excited about the work that I do because I know how much impact we can make when we are holding essentially a mirror to somebody in a very like loving, gentle way of like, is this who you are? Is this who you want to be? Where do you want to go? And let's figure out the way to remove and destroy any of those internal barriers to success so you can have the life, the business, the relationship, the whatever you want in your human existence.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Well, we are in one accord as we launch this conversation today. So, and I think for all the doctors and hygienists then and others, other dental professionals that are listening to us, uh, I think like we were talking about before we started, that there's so many smart people because going through school, you have to learn all this head knowledge. You have to learn all the information. You have to learn all the technical skill sets, which seemingly has left little time for the mental, emotional, human preparation. And you're right. So that now it's crisis. We have to then get to the point where we're ready to admit that we have things that are getting in our way. We're not sure what they are always. There's problems, but it's like, I think from a dental perspective, it's kind of like we do often meet people in crisis, right? People come into a dental practice because they're in pain, because something is miserable for them, and they need a clear solution for that. But the higher level is always health and wellness, right? A higher level of fitness and function. And how can I would love to just perpetuate that mindset more to where we don't have to be suffering to benefit from coaching any more than people have to be suffering to benefit from dental care, right? We just want to be better.
100%, 100%. And that was something that I realized when I became a dental office manager, where I just looked at my team and I'm like, wow, the amount of stress that we go through on any given day, handling others' emotions, handling the physical nature of being in dentistry. There's a lot of stress here. So how do we help the practice? We help the individual humans who are at service to our patients be well. And
Yeah.
so what does that mean to be well? Like to be an optimized human, we have to focus on the physical nature of being a human being. Like, are you sleeping? Are you eating? Are you drinking water? Are you mentally thinking positive thoughts? Are you excited about your day? Do you feel inspired every day? And when we have a team of humans that are mentally, physically, emotionally well, that's when magic happens in business. And I don't see it any other way. I don't think we can get past that in any other way. And I think some of the problems that we're facing in our industry and in many industries right now is we've tried to bypass the human.
Yeah.
We've focused on the systems, we've focused on the revenue, we've focused on the marketing. But what about the human beings that are actually doing those jobs?
Yes.
If we empower them and focus on them, then none of it's going to last and it's not going to get very far. And so I really believe that sustainable success comes from honoring and investing in yourself as a human being so that you can fill in the blank. You can do anything, but you have to be well first.
Yes.
And so some of the lectures that I'll speak to, like 500 people in the audience, most of them dentists, they come up to me afterwards. And the biggest thing that they say to me is, I wish I would have known this information sooner. I wish that someone helped me with this mindset, I would have had less stress. I would have chosen different things in my life. I would have been happier. And that's really another thing kind of keeps me up at night and drives me is like, how do I help more people know this information so that they can feel better in their day-to-day lives?
Yeah, I love that because you talk about humans first philosophy. So, uh, and I think that is often sidestepped over as though that's somehow either it's all going to automatically work out that part, or it's not that big of a thing. People talk about, oh, soft skills. It's like, no, those things you're calling soft skills are just human skills.
Yeah.
Those are just skills for dealing with other people, right? So if you lack that in favor of what the hard skills, the science, I mean, whatever that distinction is that we're making, you're going to have a hard time with the people, even if you're good with patients. I mean, I have sometimes people say, that their doctor is really great with patients. They just don't do as well with the team, for example. So tell us a little bit more about your human first philosophy.
Yeah, it really is looking at, I mean, your greatest asset in your business, your people as human beings, not just professionals. Like they are professionals, but they're humans first. And so if we can develop them as the best human beings, they will be the best professionals. And again, it can't go the opposite way. You don't become an exceptional professional and then you're a great human. The better you are as a human, the
Yeah.
better you are as a professional. And so I help practices foster this really deep sense of well-being and high performance mindset. Like really, it's the mindset around success, around stepping into higher levels of leadership as individuals. It's the mindset of resiliency to take on challenges. It's the mindset of gratitude and optimism as they're facing their day. And that's what I teach as the foundation. Before we get into any of the systems or the structures or what we're doing, I ask them, who are you? And how do we help you become the best version of yourself so that you can get into the what later on? And it's so much fun because after working with practices, the comments that I get is like this work isn't just like business changing, it's life changing. I love my career so much more. I have better relationships. And you mentioned like this is considered soft skills, but I had one of my friends recently share this with me. She's like, no, I think those are foundational skills. And I was like, yes, exactly. They're not soft. There's nothing soft about them because all of this is deeply embedded into biology and neuroscience of like how to think, what to think about, how to optimize your body. Like this is not soft or fluffy. This is how to take care of a human being. And that is going to give you long-standing success. And what I see in practices is just incredible. It's less turnover, it's higher production, it's better patient care, it's doctors that feel really aligned with the vision of their organization. It's with team members who are stepping into higher levels of leadership because they know and understand that I have a responsibility to be the best person in my life. And that means part of that is my career. So I'm going to be the best human and then be the best professional.
That's fantastic. It doesn't seem like that's like a rocket science breakthrough in thinking, but it kind of feels like it is sometimes. It's like that. Shouldn't that be obvious? But maybe not. So I think that's great because I think it does. And I love just going back to what you said earlier. I love the fact that you love every day what you're doing and feel really fortunate to be able to have that perspective. I feel the same way. I'm definitely older than you are. So I've been doing stuff longer than you have. And I also feel that same way. I feel very blessed to be able to do the work that I do, that I love doing. And it's so rewarding. I love, like in a conversation like this, I love to meet new people like you and to see how can I draw out like who is Allison, and people need to get to know Allison. Um, and at the same time, like how can we help people get a next step forward? And I think there's such joy in that. And to be able to do coaching work to where you can help team members also to be able to feel like they love what they do, that is so not the norm. So I think the people that humans first kind of perspective is really meaningful. From a change perspective, I mean, change is needed. As you step into organizations and begin to work with them, then you begin to see areas where there needs to be change within the organization, within systems and processes, probably a lot of different things. Tell us a little bit about maybe what that change, your orientation to change process is, and how is that something that can be made sustainable? How do you keep that going in an organization over time?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say there are two often missed aspects of change. One of them is really understanding the science of change, like in your own brain. Because again, like if we're thinking about the humans first method, it's the human beings that have to change. And so when we look at the science of change, change is a very challenging thing for people, not because like change is just hard, it's because we're biologically wired to be in habit. And when we have habit, we expend less energy as humans, which our brain wants to do. Like we're in our safety, we're in our habit, we're expending the least amount of energy as possible. And when we understand that, like, that's what's going on, when we try to change, that's when we can start to bypass and get prepared for the resistance that everyone's going to have, even from a subconscious level. It's not just a conscious, I don't want to do this. It's a subconscious aspect of your body being like, I don't know if this is safe. And this is going to expend more energy than I really want to expend. So when we can first kind of understand, like, this is the process and this is what we're going to go through, it's normal and it's okay. We have to be prepared for those resistors to come up, but let's override them because why? Why are we changing? And most of the time when we come in and we say, we're going to systemize this and do that and do this, the team is like, what's in it for me? Why does this really matter? Why? And sometimes even with the practice owner, they're kind of like, why? Like, why are we changing? And so then we have to create like a deep, deep understanding and a personal buy-in to that change. And so why would we change anything in a practice? Make it less stressful. Your day, Matthew, as you're walking into your office, gets to be less stressful and more joyful. That's why we're going to do this. Number two, we're going to take better care of our patients with more ease. What does that mean? It means that with these systems, we don't have to think about everything that we're doing. It's going to be easier for you to take great care of the people. And I know that matters to you. And the third thing is to have more fun and do better as a practice. When the practice is doing better, everyone's doing better. So when we can help the team members understand, like from your seat in this office, from your role, you're going to have more fun. You're going to have less stress. Your job's going to be easier. And holy smokes, you're going to be able to take better care of your patients. That's why we're doing this. So let's buckle up. Let's understand the neurobiology of the physical change you're going to go through. Let's take it easy as we go through it and let's have fun with the process. And that's how we get sustainable change. And it's funny because like the comments that I get from the teams, they'll be like, wait, I don't even remember. Do you remember that we used to do it that way? And I'm like, yeah, that's the beauty of change. It's slowly and then all at once. And when we can also look at some of the science around behavior change and recognizing like it's not with the stick that we get the results, it's with the holy smokes, Matthew, we implemented that yesterday and you did it today. High five, well done. You're exactly in the right place. I'm so proud of you. People don't hear these words. They don't get that validation. They don't get noticed. And so when we can notice them changing, that's how we start to see them do more of what we want.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Because I think you're right. People often don't get enough of a rationale for what the change is about. And also, I think team members get jaded too around past changes that never lasted. Like we put all this energy into some past thing that we no longer even do. I did buy into that, and yet it didn't work for whatever reason, or we just quit. And so what, now I have to get up again for another thing? And I think it's like there's just not the level of engagement that's being hoped for because, and also to your point of like, what's in it for me? I mean, that's part of what I'm trying to help people with in using assessments like I do is understanding the unique different inspiration sources of team members. Like why, like everybody's not the same in the organization as to what's going to speak to them. They don't and not everybody values the same thing, and they're often not valuing the profitability standpoint that the owner is, right? So I think it's important that we kind of see and learn and know the language of of each of the individuals that make up the organizations. Does that make sense? Does that fit for you as you think about that?
100%. I think the more we can value our team members as individuals and see them as like the unique souls that they are, the more they feel that, they sense it, they know that they're cared for. And that's when we get better performance for people, is when we actually care about them, not pretend to care about them, but like actually care about them and their individual uniqueness, and understanding like what is their language, what are their fears, what is their resistor going to be, and then help them go through that together and
Yeah.
proactively. And something that I always say too, like kind of to your point of like, well, we tried this in the past and it's never changed. One thing I always tell teams, I'm like, look, everything's an iteration. With technology, with science, with AI, with everything that's happening, we're always going to be changing. Because if we're not changing, it means we're not growing. And if we're not growing, it means we're dying. And we are not going to be one of those stagnant offices that hasn't changed in 100 years. Like we're not, that's not who we are.
Right.
So it's just recognizing like everything is always going to change.
Yeah.
And we can either kind of like white knuckle it through that process, or we can lean into it and get curious and have fun with it. And the other thing I always say is like, let's experiment. Maybe this won't work. Maybe it really won't, but let's try it. And let's see if it makes your life easier after we commit to it for at least 3 months. Let's reassess. And I want you to tell me how this is working for you. So then we give ownership to the team members. We're not saying this is being done to you. You have no choice.
Yeah.
We're saying, let's do this together. You are a partner in this change.
Yeah, done to you is never really feel like I'm the passive recipient of what you're doing to me in my day. Yeah, that being felt. So we've got humans first. We've got kind of some tools and perspectives around change that makes it sustainable and rewarding. And then how does equipping people and kind of empowering people then fit into what makes this sustainable as well moving forward, adding value in the organization?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I believe, and this is what I feel very passionate about, that we deserve to like our careers. We deserve to like our jobs. We deserve to enjoy what we do.
Yes.
And why not? Like we have only so much time in this world. We
Yeah.
go to work every single day. And when you can enjoy what you do and like it when you wake up in the morning and go into work and have your role, your whole life is better.
Yes.
It brings more meaning to your life. It brings more joy to your life. And the question that I ask people is like, whose job is it to keep you inspired? Is it mine? Is it the practice owners? Is it your parents? No, it's yours.
Yeah.
You get to decide that. You get to decide that you show up every day inspired. But how? How do you feel inspired? What makes you feel inspired? What makes you feel excited? What makes you feel engaged? And that's to your point of that individuality. Everyone is so different. And everyone has a different way that they feel inspired or connected to what they do. But my kind of mission is within that practice, everyone feels engaged and excited and inspired about something.
Yes.
They probably aren't the right fit for the practice. And truthfully, this probably isn't the right role for you. Like this probably isn't the right career for you.
Right.
So it's really like looking at, again, the individual, the human being, and asking them like, this is your life.
Right.
Choosing every single part about it. You are waking up every day. You are making a decision of like how you feel going to work. How can we help you be connected to that, to feel inspired by it? Because there are specific things that we can do to help you be that way. But you have to decide that. No one else can do it for you. And so my goal is to build a practice of leaders. And a practice of leaders is leaders of their own life,
Right.
leaders of their own emotions, leaders of their own thoughts. Like everyone has the choice to decide who they're showing up as every day, regardless of what's happening in the practice, regardless of their life. Like they get to decide. That's our greatest freedom. And so when you can help people realize that they're not a victim to anything in their life, they're choosing it all, they're creating it all. What can we do to help you feel better and feel more excited about the world you're living in? And that long-term sustainability of change and of growth is really changing the human beings inside the practice to know that they are responsible for that.
Yeah, I love that because I think that there's a lot of toleration going on. Just like Gallup concluded that about 70% of the global workforce is not engaged in the work that they're doing. And like why? I think it's so much of what you shared it really does explain why. And I think there's a lot of just people tolerating their days. There's business owners tolerating team members. There's team members tolerating each other and tolerating the the their doctors, and patients are impacted by that. I think way more than leaders and team members think, that it's like, oh, they don't know what's going on, that we have internal turmoil. They feel way more than you imagine that they're feeling. I've had people defend it, like even they're yelling at each other in one room, like the other people in the next room don't even hear them. But even if you don't say anything out loud, people feel the vibe in a place if there's a lot of cold energy towards each other and that sort of thing. So you're right. I think I'm glad you mentioned leadership on the part of all people, because that is a leader quality, to be at cause, not just at effect, right? I think that's perfect. If we could all kind of own the fact that we are leaders because we are at cause, then that changes the course of our day. Right now, we're not victims of anything. I think that's wonderful.
And truly, like when I was a dental assistant in one of my practices, like I did feel like a victim. I was like, there's no systems, there's no this, they don't have my lunch break. Like I felt like I had all these like, complaints and I had all
Yeah.
this set. And remember reading a book, and this was like really truly like the start of my personal development journey. I think I was like 20. And I read this book, and it was called Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma.
Mm.
Premise is like everyone's a leader of their life. And if you don't like your life, make a change. Like make a change. It's up to you. It is up to you. And it's our greatest privilege and it's our greatest responsibility to be able to do that. And so it kind of kicked my butt a little bit in the sense of like, oh my gosh, like the reason why I don't like my job is because I have a really negative mindset around this.
Yeah.
I am feeling like a victim to the circumstances. And yes, there were no systems, there were no, it was stressful, but I shifted my mindset and I said, what or how can I? And I just started asking myself that question again and again. What or how can I fix this, change it, think about it differently, help someone, make a process, make a system? And that's what got me to be a dental office manager when I was 24 years old, was because I just kept thinking, what or how can I fix this? What or how can I do? What or how can I help?
Right.
And it completely changed my life. It changed the practice. It helped so many people because I took personal ownership of my life,
Right.
and it never stopped from there. And we all have the ability to do that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. As we wrap up, anything that I haven't asked you, anything that we haven't yet discussed that you might want to leave us with?
I would just say that if anybody listening to this feels stuck at all in any part of their life, just know that there are, even if you can't see it right now, there are doors, there are windows, there are opportunities everywhere for you. And it might just take reaching out to a coach, it might just take reading a different book, but don't stay stuck in any part of your life that doesn't align with you, because this experience we're having as human beings, it's precious, and we don't know how much time we have. We don't know what it's going to look like, but it's precious. And treat yourself that way, treat your life that way, and create like a sense of urgency around falling in love with your life or being excited about the things that you're doing, because it really gets to be fun.
Thank you for that. So for everybody who's excited now, saying Allison is awesome and I probably should connect with her, what's the best way for people to do that?
You can go to my Instagram or my website, Your Clear Aligner Coach, and yourclearalignercoach.com. You'll see a lot of resources on my Instagram page. I try to keep it very inspiring. And I host like regular workshops and free events that you can come to and just get inspired. And I would love to answer any questions that anybody has, and you can send me a DM and I'm available.
Thank you so much for your time today. I have loved our conversation, and I think there's been great value. So I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for holding space and for being such a fantastic interviewer and for helping the world in the ways that you do.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Well, thanks everybody for watching. This is hopefully you've had as much fun and gotten as much value as I have from this conversation with Allison. So we've been with Allison Lacoursiere of Clear Coaching, and I hope you will reach out to her. If you have not yet subscribed to the podcast, please do. We want to continue to get amazing people to come and spend time with us and to add value to your life. So please do that. And this is the Truth Behind Dentistry podcast. I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.